Find the 4 questions, right? I'm hoping most of you, if not all of you, did those 4 questions. Hey, gentlemen, my turn now. I'm hoping that you did or tried or whatever. Those 4 questions should definitely be done, but I'm not too convinced that all of you did. Jordan, you with us? What page are we on, bud? Yeah. No. Michael, do you have your book with you? Thank you. This is Mimi, a grade 11 book. I don't have any more grade 12 books up here. Did you want to check on the side there or the side? Probably. All right. Okay. We got good old Graham here. He needs a $5,000 loan, and one bank offers him a rate of 3% per year. Right? That's what per annum means, per year. Compounded quarterly for 2 years. Maddie? Another bank offers him a rate of 2.25% per year, compounded monthly for 3 years. So we want to know how much he would have to repay for each loan. So we're going to have to start with 2 equations here, both of them being A equals our compound interest formula, which is P times 1 plus R over N to the power of N times T. Okay, so for the first loan, we've got a principal of $5,000, actually for both loans. One's offering him a rate of 3% per year, compounded quarterly for 2 years. And the next one, the second one, is a rate of 2.25% per year, compounded monthly for 3 years. So for the first one, we're going to take our principal of $5,000. We're going to multiply that by 1 plus our rate of 3%. So we need to divide by 100. And then we need to divide by n. Compounded quarterly means n is equal to 4. So divided by 4 to the power of n, 4 times the 2 years. Okay? Yeah. 294. 294. Question 2. Am I wrong? Is it different in your book? Because again, I have a bit of a different version up here. Nope, page 294, question 2. So do we have an answer for this? Did anybody do it? Right, I know this was a bit of a review from last year, but I also know it wasn't a lot of strong people's. Yes, ma'am. What's different about it? Oh, so thank you. Yes, I asked you for sure to let me know if yours was different. I appreciate that you did. I'm going to. So that would account for some people's confusion. Yeah, but you know what? My question in the book is different than your question in the book. My question in the book is different than your question in the book. So that's why some people are going, I don't know what's going on. So let me just get your question from the book. Well, it's worded completely different and you're given different information. So let's just hold on to that for a second. Okay, so yours says Graham needs a $5,000 loan. One bank offers him a loan for 2 years. It's a term for 2 years with the monthly payments of $214.91. And a second one offers him a loan for a term of 3 years with monthly payments of $143.76. Now you will find something similar to this where I'm saying, hey, there's monthly payments. How much does this cost? You will also be told that if you were to buy it cash right now, it would cost this much. But he chooses monthly payments. How much does it cost? Then you need to find out what the interest is, which again is difference. Okay? So how much would he have to repay for each loan? So we're going to look at loan 1 here. Loan 1 is a term of 2 years for monthly payments of $214.91. Okay, so $214.91 times your 12 months in a year times your 3 years. And what does that give you? It's going to be another thing like yesterday when I kept writing down 3 when I needed 2. Maybe. So, how much is that, guys? So 214.91 times your 12 months in a year times your 2 years. 5.57. Oh, 5.1. So $5,136. Okay? And for the second one, loan number 2, we do the same thing. He's got monthly payments of $143.76. We're going to multiply that by our 12 months in a year. And we're going to multiply that now by the 3 years that he pays that. And that will equal, yeah. Oh, 214.91 times 12 times 2 is equal to 5157.84. Okay, so 5,157 and 84 cents. What's that? Thank you. I appreciate that. But that's why I ask a few of you to do it, right? Now, what's your 143.76 times your 12 months in a year times your 3 years? 5,175 and 36 cents. You bet. Okay, so that's how much he has to repay for each loan. Now, give one reason why Graham might choose each of the banks as loans. It's 36, 75, 36. 143.76. It's right from here, so it's in your question. You have it written down there. Okay, why do you think he would choose number 1 over 2? Right, they're asking you to give one reason why he might choose each of them. So you have to give a reason as to why he would choose 1 or why he would choose 2. Why do you think he might choose number 1? Okay, number 1, you pay less, right? Why would he choose number 2 maybe? He has a longer term to pay it back. Okay? So, depends what's more important to him, right? Now, hoping things are the same. You guys are okay with percentages, right? Were there any questions with question 3 and 4? No? All right, let's turn to page 297 and let's look at the brand new stuff. Okay, so we talked about when we're starting a business, there needs to be things that you consider like overhead, and overhead are expenses, things you have to pay out for, like your electricity, your rental, the people that work for you, all of those things, and all together, the word is called overhead, right? And those are the expenses of running a business. Okay. Also, when you're running a business and when you actually start one up on your own, we have what's called startup costs. And they're exactly as it sounds. You have to calculate the amount you'll have to invest or spend before you can open for business. Now, in our world of the internet and internet sales and internet advertising, startup costs can be a little bit less for some companies because you don't need to open a store. You can actually just advertise your things online, right? You don't have to go around to your neighbors to say, come on over and see my goods. That didn't sound good. Um, but I expected that for you it would. Okay. Um, but there are still companies like you need product, right? So for the most part, you're not going to be able to build a company without something to sell, and you're not going to be able to sell anything unless you have that something. You need to acquire that some way. So you need what we call startup costs, okay? So you need some money to invest or to buy what you want to sell. And when considering starting a business, you must be careful to think about all the items that will be needed, including the cost of a business license. Okay, you should also allow for some unexpected costs. So you also want to make sure you know what taxes the government's going to pay you. You also need to know if there's, for some companies, there's an extra surcharge or a surtax on the product that you're selling. So you need to keep all of these things into consideration. Okay. Startup costs are often one-time costs, such as buying a cash register for a store. In addition to these expenses, you also need to consider operating expenses. That's like your overhead, right? Whatever it costs you. So these are expenses that are paid to keep it running and are often recurring, such as paying a monthly phone bill. So this sounds a lot like what we did last year with our budgeting unit. We were talking about recurring expenses. Now, the example that they're giving us is good old Hazel. She's completed a hairdressing program 5 years ago in at the college in the Rockies in Cranbrook, BC. And actually there is a really good hairdressing school there that a lot of people come out of. I can see that. Now, she's been working in a salon ever since, but she's decided that she would like to open her own salon. She's already has many of the items that she'll need because she had to supply her own scissors and razors and curling irons and straighteners and brushes and perm curlers and combs for her current job. So list other items she would be likely needing to start her own salon. So they've listed a whole bunch of things here for us. We can just even go through them. Now, a lot of stylists now, what they do is they actually rent space in another person's building, so they don't have to actually pay for an entire venue. Okay, but things that she'll have to think about. She needs a venue. She needs styling chairs, right? What are the things that when you go to the hairdresser, they have there? Products, yep, to sell. Scissors. She already had those. You betcha, the washing sink and chair. My mom used to have one of those in the house. Oh, mirror, for sure you need a mirror. You're so reading it. She doesn't necessarily need a cash register, but chances are she'll want one, or she may want a computer, right, for appointment booking. Oh, well, that'd be silly not to think of that business license, yeah? What's that? Oh, now you're just skipping all over. Right. So there's lots of different things that she'll need for that, right? How about Dean? Dean's opening a dog daycare in his community, and he's researched the market and has decided that the business is feasible. What did feasible mean again? It's possible. Um, And not only possible, but it's positively possible for him to make money at it. Now list at least 5 items that Dean needs to consider as startup costs. So we're thinking of a doggy daycare. What do you think he's going to need to start up? Dogs. Um, those are the clients. Okay. I think those are more kennels than doggy daycares. Dog food, perhaps. Yeah, perhaps dog food. Ah, good. So a fenced yard. He's just going to put it up in the parking lot. So I would say just a venue, okay? We're going to put venue. We got dog food. What else? Dog bed, sleeping pills. What is wrong with you guys? Look at his little fingers. He's like, the chihuahua will be eaten. What? Yeah, toys for sure. I don't take care of dogs. Maybe toys, beds. A helper. I would want a helper. Depends how many puppies he has, hey? What happens when the puppies come and they pee on the floor? Hell. What's that? A mop. So he needs cleaning supplies for sure. Yeah, you do. So if you have to take him for a walk and the owner doesn't bring the leash, yeah, extra leashes. Okay, so there's lots of little things that we think about, right? Even if you haven't owned a dog before, you can kind of think of some of the things, right? He probably too needs a, pardon me? Um, honestly, some dogs do need muzzles. They're the masks that go over the dog's snout if they're aggressive and they will bite. So maybe he does need muzzles, like some of you need muzzles. Did anybody catch that? Um, Not that I remember. So if I don't remember getting bitten by a student, then I don't think I have been. Now ask me if I've bitten a student. I'm joking. I haven't bit a student. Adderall. Okay, awesome. We got Adderall, sleeping pills. You just want to put the puppies to sleep. Uh-huh. Yeah. How about a business license? All of those things. Okay. I think we're done with that. Example 4. Let's move to the next page, 299. Look at this. This is kind of nice. Guys, 299. Next page. What did I skip? I'm not doing example 6. Look at all the ruckus that came up with example 5. Look at this, guys. Alberta Senior or National Seniors Day in Canada is on October 1st. Where are you going, Jordan? Honor this day by helping a senior family member, friend, or neighbor with a household chore. Do any of you actually do that? You help a senior member of the family or even a neighbor? Mark, what do you do? Do you shovel snow for people in the winter? If they can't shovel it themselves? They're right there, beside the fridge. Yes or no, Mark? That's very nice of you to start them out. Okay. Serenity, do you just help out family members or sometimes other people? Yeah. All right. Okay, guys, enough is enough. Yeah. Enough is enough is enough. Pardon me? Well, that is not helping a senior member of your community, okay? He, that's mid-age. Actually, I suppose it is. Okay. In the So are you saying if you were my neighbor, you would consider me cranky and walk on my lawn? Because I'm mid-age? Oh my gosh. You guys are all fired. Okay. In the example above, we listed startup costs for Hazel's hair salon. Now she's considered these items and has calculated the following costs. So now we're going to do the budgets. So her first month's rent, 2 professional styling chairs, 2 hair washing sinks and chairs, desks, mirrors, cabinets, all the things that we listed. And the cost is set aside there. In order to figure out what our total startup costs are, what do you think we need to do with these numbers? Yes, add them together. Okay, so if we add those all together, her startup costs would equal how much? Okay, we've got Nigel slinking in behind me. Oh, you did that really quick without even looking at your calculator. $5,875. Okay, before we move on from this, because you're just looking at the answer, we have to think this through. We want the first month's rent. Okay, so that's our $1,000. We need 2 professional styling chairs, and each of them are worth $300. So you need to recognize that when you have those words in there, instead of just taking your numbers and adding them up, you need to read. We need to multiply this by 2. Okay, we have 2 hair washing sinks and chairs and $700 a set. This also needs to be multiplied by 2 then, because we have 2 of them. Okay, and the rest of them are all single payments. So 1,000 plus 300 times 2 plus 700 times 2 plus 1,000 plus 600 plus 1,000 plus 75 plus $200. Now, there is one thing on here, or a couple of things on here, which will be recurring, right? They haven't asked us that yet. I don't know if they will. But just to start thinking about future questions, our monthly rent is going to be a recurring expense, right? Right, Cecile? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to wake your little French Chiquan up there? Yeah. And the business license is going to be a recurring yearly expense. And other than that, though, everything else is there. She's putting that in there and she's using it, right, Jordan? Now, if she has $5,000 saved, does she have enough money to cover her expenses? No. Hazel does not want to take out a loan, so suggest 2 ways that she could adjust her startup costs. Okay, so she could, but the question is more specific. It is suggest 2 ways she could adjust her startup costs. So not delay her startup, right? She could save more, absolutely, by delaying her startup. But what could she do within this if she wants to start today? She's missing how much money? $875. Okay, so why do I even ask you these questions? Okay, so that's a more reasonable thing. Okay, so she can get rid of a sink and she can get rid of a chair. I do not suggest that she not get her business license and start up illegally, though. We're going to keep the business license, okay, Mark? Okay. Yes, Maddie. Okay, just like we're on the movies doing a photo shoot in the fan. Anyways, Ayub, you had a suggestion? Right. I agree with that. No, you're going to do the practice your new skills section. So I think there might be one more example there. Okay. Um, absolutely. So you've suggested a couple of things there. Mark has suggested illegal options. The legal ones are more what we're looking for here, just FYI. Yeah. So again, buying 1 professional styling chair and only 1 washing sink and chairs, right? Because she's working in this alone. She can always buy those later and maybe add somebody else to work with her. And she doesn't necessarily need to be working on two clients at the same time. And if she does, she can move them out of different seats. Cole, what's that? She can hand wash her towels, or she could bring them home to wash and dry, right? If she's got one there. Does she really need a cash register to start up right away? She can have like a wallet, can't she? No? A lockbox? No. We live in a modern world. This is true. Maybe she wants to buy a few less towels and capes, right? Desk mirrors and cabinets. I don't know. There are absolutely some places that she can skimp. Definitely not in rent, and definitely not in the business license, though. FYI. Okay. Is there one more example? I don't believe there is. Yes, there is. Example 5 on 302, please. I thought there were 5. I planned this. Now, I need to make sure that my example is the same as yours, so I better get there in the book. Now, Irina has worked for several years in a flower shop, and the current owner has decided to retire. So Irina is considering buying the business. And since the business is already operating and successful, the startup costs are minimal other than the purchase price. However, Irina has to consider the business's monthly operating expenses. What expenses will she have to consider? This is actually a friend of mine did this. We worked at this like retail jeans store in the Sherwood Park Mall. When we were like, I don't know, 17 or 16, 17, 18, whatever, right? Just for some extra cash. And they were going to retire, and she bought them out, and she owned it till maybe about a month ago. She's made wicked cash off of it. So she made wicked we used to work there. I wasn't interested. She took I think a 2-year business diploma from Nate and kind of learned how to keep some of her own books and stuff like that. And yeah, she made a lot of money, very successful. What? Mark, what? And yeah, so don't think that where you're at right now can't become a better future plan for you either. You too, forget it. All right. So the operating expenses that she needs to keep it running are obviously the flowers. Other floral supplies such as ribbon vases, flower pots, so on, mortgage payments, utilities, telephone and internet bills, employees' wages, bank accounts, property taxes, annual business license, insurance, delivery costs, including costs of vehicle maintenance, gas insurance, and advertising costs, including website maintenance. Now, it seemed, would you stop? um, Owning a business is the same kind of as if you're just starting out and you want to own a car, right? A lot of you guys save up. You save up money to buy a car. Okay, but you're not considering the other things or what the real cost is running a car, right? The expenses of having a car. Buying a car is easy, right? You save up $1,000, you save up $2,000, maybe you save up 30 to 40. It depends what kind of car you want and how you can do that. But the operating expenses of having a car are much more expensive over the long term and even right away, especially if you're younger and this is one of your first vehicles. Your insurance costs, a lot of your insurance costs will be upfront, right? Depending on what kind of car you get as well. Insurance, yeah, insurance is very expensive. Well, you can absolutely look that up. There are some people who they won't even insure, so they say no, you need to pay me $8,000 for the year right up front. And if you ask if you can do payments, they double that. So they're like, sure, you can do monthly payments, but it's going to cost you $1,600 or $16,000, right? So sometimes your insurance isn't as much. If you buy a newer car, Mark, if you buy a newer car, your insurance costs are more because your car is worth probably a bit more. If you actually buy a brand new car and you finance it, the finance company insists, it's by law, that you need to have a certain level of insurance on it. So you can't just say, oh, I'll just insure my car from collisions, right? No, you need liability for if you hit somebody by accident or if somebody hits you and somebody gets hurt, right? So you need liability, there's collision, there's theft, there's all the different parts of insurance that they ding you for. So also, you got to gas that puppy up at least like once every week to 2 weeks, depending on how much you're driving, right? If it's a truck, you're gassing up for maybe 150, 200 bucks. If it's a car, anywhere from 70 to 80 bucks, maybe. Gentlemen. So, operating expenses, or how much it would cost you to actually own a vehicle rather than just buy one, much the same. So consider that just putting the money down to buy something is not how much it's really initially going to cost you. Okay, so I'd like you please to do the practice your new skills section starting on page 305. I believe there are 5 questions. Okay, questions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Most of them are you need to write a little bit of a sentence down. Okay, there's not a lot of mathy stuff. The math is pretty easy. You might use I'm sorry, am I interrupting your conversations again? You will have to use the one formula for compound interest, okay? Or you're just kind of adding and subtracting up different expenses. All right? So, rest of the class is yours to finish those whole 5 questions. Yes, sir.